Preview TV, new media with a difference.
Good evening and welcome to Private Television. This is the Diaspora Political Leadership Platform. It's Tuesday, August the 25th, 2020. With me today is my co-host, Spencer Anyanwere.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the program. As usual, we're bringing you another wonderful program, and as usual, we like to stay with the politics and discuss the issues of the day. And today, normally we have this program on Thursdays, but because of the interruption we had last week, we said we'll need to bring back our guest. It was unfair. There was a thunderstorm in Abuja, and that made it difficult for us to have a discussion with him. So, Marlene, I'll let you introduce our guest today.
Well, before I introduce our guest, I have to tell you a little bit about this platform. This Diaspora Political Leadership Platform is a platform that is set up for Anambra people, the indigenous of Anambra State, where we discuss the matters, everything matters relating to Anambra people home and abroad. So we usually every Thursdays bring somebody, especially from Anambra State 2021 governorship election. We call it election in review. We have to bring out all the politicians in Anambra State, PDP, every Thursdays to come and speak to us. Today we have the other globe, a barrister, a PDP chieftain, and a governorship aspirant on the for Anambra State, and he is Barrister Obunike Ohaegbu. Barrister, you are welcome, sir, to Private Television.
Thank you, Marlene.
I hope in Nigeria, the weather, Abuja precisely, I hope the weather in Abuja today is okay. Barrister, you're muted a bit.
Yeah, I said the weather is fantastic.
Okay, because today in London we have horrible weather. Right now, it's actually storms and rainy, heavy rains here in London today. Barrister, can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, sir?
Okay, my name is Obunike Ohaegbu. I'm from Obor, the Nene South Local Government area of Anambra State. I did my primary school education in Ebe Community Primary School in Obor. Secondary school, I did JS1 to JS3.
The sound's gone again.
Yeah, the sound is gone again, Barrister. And this time it's not muted, but it's gone completely. It's muted.
Yes, we can hear you now. It seems. No.
We're having the same problem.
It's gone again. The sound's gone, sir. You can hear us? Try to unmute.
Yeah,
Try to unmute.
The internet.
Okay, can you speak and see if we can hear you? But we can hear ourselves there. It's just gone. The sound's gone. All right, Barrister, I'll tell you, please, if you can, log out and log back in, and we'll see if that rectifies it, please, if you don't mind. If you log out and log back in, that normally does it. Yeah. So, Marlene, while we wait for him to come in, the last time we had the same problem with the internet. It's not from the UK. It's really from Abuja. I don't know why it's this bad, and we're having difficulties, particularly with him, because last time we didn't have any issues.
Yeah, hopefully it will be sorted out. And while we're doing that, we can use the opportunity to tell the people about the other shows we have in Private TV. And Mark, we acknowledge you. You say good evening, or Mark, good evening to you for logging in and joining us. Spencer, can you tell us? Tell them about all the wonderful shows we have in Private Television.
Yes, we have the new program, which I'm really proud of. It's called Obako on Private Television, and that's on Sundays. And that's anchored by the Electric Wine. the Lioness. The one we had on Sunday just gone was wonderful, and we hope you lot can join in and be part of the show. We also have the Golden Pot of Hope. And I'm going to come back later because the chief barrister is back with us now, and I'll tell you a lot more about the other programs we have. Let's add him and hope see if it sounds better now. Barrister, can you hear us, sir?
Loud and clear.
Okay, sir. Okay, go ahead, sir.
You were trying to introduce yourself, so can you go ahead, sir? I think that problem is still there.
Is it the headphones, perhaps? Maybe, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Okay, sir.
I've removed the earpiece to know if it could make any difference. Is it okay?
Okay. It seems to be better now. Okay, go ahead, sir. Let's play now. It seems to be better now. Go ahead. Let's play now.
So I said I studied law in Anambra University. I was called to the Nigerian Bar in 2001, and I went to Brussels to do my first master's on international legal cooperation. And from Brussels, I went to London. I came back to Nigeria in 2005. I went to London to do my second master's on international trade law. So I'm from Anambra State, and I'm mercantile oriented, so I had to go back to do something on trade. And when I came back in 2007, I was privileged to work in the National Assembly as a senior legislative aide. From there, on May 14th, 2012, I was inaugurated as a Commission Public Complaints Commission representing FCT in PCC. Today, I'm into private practice as a legal practitioner here in Anambra.
That's very good. Nice to meet you, and I was hoping to hit at some point.
There's another phone there that should be speaking.
Hello, I didn't get that.
No, okay. No, I was saying that thanks for the long accolade. It was quite long, and I was hoping it finishes at some point because it was really you're really well endowed, well packed. And that's what leads us to the next question, which is what's been your driving force to first of all go into politics, and then secondly for you to be coming up, putting yourself forward now for the 2021 elections as a governorship candidate in Anambra State, aspirant?
I wouldn't actually know what is the driving force. It's just that I find myself doing that. For instance, as a year one student in Anambra University, I found myself coordinating for LOSA aspirants. And in my second year, I ended up coming out for LOSA Assistant Secretary General. I was returned unopposed, surprisingly, for the first time in the faculty. In my third year, I found myself running for the Secretary General of the Law Students Association in Anambra University. I was equally returned unopposed. From there, I went to the federal. I ran for the SUG presidency. So many things happened, and I ended up becoming the Attorney General of the Students' Union government. Even as I was the Attorney General of the Students' Union, I was involved in so many things. I was the coordinator of Amnesty International. When National Conscience Party was launched by Gani Fawemi, I was one of the representatives that were tear gassed in Lagos. I was the coordinator of National Conscience Party in Anambra University. So I found myself getting involved in where you are expected to actually serve the public. So I wish I knew the driving force so that I would ask the driver to slow down. But I'm doing that, and that is what I'm happy doing.
Okay, sir.
Okay, one question to you, my direct question to you now, because I thought, and I believe that the government in power right now are doing well. They're doing okay. Let's use the word, we're doing okay. Where do you think the current administration is not doing well, and what do you think you can do to change that? Any particular place you think they're not doing
I think I think you are indirectly asking me what my plans are for the Anambra, and I think at this moment, I think there are probably in 12 uh, sectors, because those sectors will be left. For instance, I have a lot to do on security, job creation, finance, especially the cost of governance, infrastructure, education, health, agriculture, mega city in Anambra State, water supply and transportation, even to have Biafra Memorial Center, development partnership, maybe 12. Let me just limit them to these 12 because it's actually difficult to get them pigeonholed into one thing.
Okay, sir.
Unless
you're not going to break them down for us, so we can say if you take one sector, say you take the health sector, and like we know.
Okay, for instance, in the security, for instance, security. What will Obunike Ohaegbu do in security? Insecurity is one of the major problems of the states. I mean, everybody knows that. You will always improve on security. So my intention is to see how I could transform the state security architecture by engaging the various security outfits in the state, including the community involvement, participation. For instance, today we have security committees in the state headed by the Igwe. At some point there were conflicts whether the Igwe will be the chairman or the President General. Now the Igwe does that. As we speak today, Anambra State pays stipend to the President Generals. What are they bringing on board? What roles are they going to play? For instance, if there is a kidnapping in your domain, what do you do? Do we ask this only the police? The community should be involved, and I will find a way to ensure that ndị mere ọfụma steeti ekenefa, ndị emekwa ha ọfụma, they need to know what is involved, and every of them, all the president generals in Anambra State, of the 177 communities, some say 179, we're working with 177 communities in Anambra State. They are traditional rulers. They are president generals. They should have access to the governor on security issues. I will ensure they have direct access to me, and to achieve this, I will just ensure good governance, where political office holders, whether elected or appointed, should be accountable to the people. They will have trust. Leaders must lead by example. There are certain things I should make sure I put in place. Somebody should be free to let me know, look at what is happening as we speak, Your Excellency or Mr. Obunike Ohaegbu, whatever the person wants to call. As we speak now in Agwata, look at what is happening today. I should be able to call directly to all the DPOs in Anambra State. As a matter of fact, if I have security challenge in any of the divisions, I will find it difficult to continue to work with the Igwe, President General, and even the DPOs in those areas. So security, I will be directly involved, because if the state is not secured, I mean, what are you doing as the governor?
That's true.
What will you do? People need to be alive.
Still on security, sorry, sir, to cut you while you're still there. So do you believe in policing, state policing?
Well, I don't want to get involved into constitutional discussions, but in Lagos we have last mile. In Anambra you have a child brigade. I may decide not to call them police, but I will get people who are from various communities to be involved, and they will find a way to ensure. As we speak today, Anambra State has Anambra State Vigilante. We'll have I will make sure they are well institutionalized, well respected, well remunerated. We'll have security votes. I don't know what the votes are, what the security votes are being used for, but I will make sure. What do you actually need as a human being that you need to accumulate 1.something billion every month for yourself? What are you going to do with that? I will make sure everybody involved will see that as a responsibility. So if you are privileged or if you are engaged to help the state in your community, and you know the risk involved, the benefits you have for doing that, and the possibility that you stand to lose everything. You have to sit up. And as I said, the moment everybody that works with you knows that everybody has access. For instance, let me give you an example. I was Commissioner of Public Complaints Commissioner FCT. The first thing I did was I advertised an email address, advertised Facebook account, and all that. The civil servants were not happy with that. But I will be on social media. I will open up Facebook accounts every day. And somebody will say, PCC, I was in the office yesterday and nobody spoke to me. And we immediately inbox the person, please, can you give me details? Everybody in my office knows that people have that access to me. In fact, you do it 3 or 4, 5 times. Everybody sits up. DPO, I heard that Jude Okonkwo was kidnapped in your area. What have you done? Oh, Your Excellency, I just heard that 2 hours ago. So for that past 2 hours, what have you done? You need to actually create time. You see, what I'm asking for is for the Anambra to hire me to serve them. I see that as seeking for a job. Quite a lot of people will say because they have achieved this, they have achieved that. They see, they have this mosaic mentality. I have a governor. It was believed that at the time we ran the last election in 2017, for 3.5 years, that the governor never reported to the office. I don't see anything that will make me not to go to my office 7:30 in the morning, Monday to Sunday. I don't have any reason to welcome anybody in my house. You go to the office, government has office.
Yes.
And once you are in office,
yeah. No, go ahead, Chief. Go ahead. Once you land on the point.
I've been privileged. Yes, I've been privileged to be a chief executive of a federal government establishment. Once you are in the office working, every other person reports to office, everybody else sits up. You don't need to tell anybody to work. You don't bother doing that. The only reason organ in office is enough to make sure that everybody is in the office.
Yes.
So that's I will do for security. All hands. I mean, I'm not coming with any fantastic. I'm not going to use. I've not told you I'm going to use horses. Or I'm going to use what is it that has been announced recently in Anambra State? I'm going to use human beings, intelligence. People will get paid for giving security information. Nobody will know about it. I will be involved. If you do it in one local government, in fact, let me give you an example. There is a kidnap, let's say in Injikok. You get to hear that. Of course, if you don't hear that, you sack your security advisors. They will know you have to. Nothing is too insignificant security-wise for the governor to know about it. If I get to hear about that and I drive to Injikok, and right there in Injikok, I'm telling the IG of police live that the DPO that did this, I don't have any problems with him. I don't have any personal problems with him. But for what I heard he has done, what he has just allowed to happen in this state, that I don't think that he can fit into my security arrangement in Anambra State. I am telling you, Spencer, the next day, all the DPOs will smoke out all the criminals in their area. A traditional ruler that gets suspended from the benefits, he will continue to be the ego of his community. Yeah. But he won't get involved. Somebody else for his community will be appointed as security liaison for the governor. In his own domain. No traditional ruler would like to hear about that. If we have meetings of traditional rulers on security and the traditional ruler of your community is not there, no other traditional ruler in the state would like such to happen. The only thing we need to do is to make sure that people take responsibilities of what happened in their area.
Yes.
On my part, as the chief servant of the state, is to make sure that whoever that is doing that is well remunerated. As a matter of fact, I will make sure that the traditional rulers who make their job full-time job, not contractors. If you come to Anambra, if you come to Abuja, you will see a lot of traditional rulers. They are having their documents. They are submitting bids. If you go to Sky Memorial, you see they're making photocopies of documents because they want contract. Of course, they have to survive. No, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm telling you, I'll be a full-time governor. And if I'm a full-time governor, everybody that works with me in Anambra State will be a full-time governor. That's why I want to do it now that I still have the energy to do that. That's why I want to do it now that I have lesser distractions if I'm privileged to be the governor of Anambra State. In fact, my track record in Public Complaints Commission is there. When I started in Public Complaints Commission, FCT, if anybody there that said it's wrong, I'm saying it publicly. When I started, you get to work by 11, you will only see the security guard and 1 or 2 or 3 people. What did I do? I brought a register. If you call me, just register. And they called me. The director and the people on level 14, they said they want to have a meeting with me. They came to my office and said, Honorable Commissioner, that register, the practice in civil service is that senior officers do not write their names on the register. I said, no problem. I could remember as a student in London, when I was privileged to work in BBC, everybody clocks in.
Everyone signs in, yeah. It's a fire.
Everybody clocks in, you come in, you clock in.
Yeah.
So I took that to mean that they are telling me, Mr. Obunike Ohaegbu, you have not lived by example. I said, no problems. You know what happened? The next day, I was in office by 7:30, I signed in. On Thursday, this happened on a Tuesday. On Wednesday, I was in office by 7:30. I signed in. On Thursday, I was in the office before 8 o'clock. I signed in. On Friday, I signed in. I came to work by 7:30 in office on Monday. Everybody was in office.
So you're talking about leadership by example.
So
really? Leadership by example.
Leadership by example.
Yeah.
Leadership by example. So if we,
Chief, I want to say something quickly so you can carry on. What I was going to say is, it reminds people, like I'm from Anambra State, for instance, I'm from Ogidi, and it reminds me of what people liked about, one of the previous governors, Peter Obi, and that's the area I was going to talk about. In terms of squeezing and utilizing the resources, because you mentioned that earlier. How are you going to do that? How are you going to make sure? Because now, obviously, what you're explaining.
I mentioned 12 things, and you asked me to explain. I've only explained one. The next one is job creation. Can you ask me the questions when I'm done? Probably when I'm done, you may realize that you may not need to ask the question.
Okay.
The next thing I will do is job creation. What do I do?
Yeah.
Personally, I believe there is a very strong relationship between unemployment, underemployment.
Again, network.
It was getting good though.
I think
crime and they're unemployed. Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hello?
You're back again. You're back, sir. Yeah, you're back, sir.
Yes, I'm back. Sorry, I'm getting connected with my phone hotspot, so people call me and my children's Wi-Fi disappointed me. So a lot of youths. So crime and insecurity are on increase in the state. I'll provide a micro and macro friendly economic policy environment. Let me not go into that. You know what I will do? I want on Anambra. I'm not going to do it alone.
Fantastic.
Let me not go into big grammar and all that. There will be job creation. As a student in Okung Memorial Grammar School in early 90s, even as an undergraduate in mid-90s, I had strong connection with Nkwanne, especially the generator pass. You know what was happening then? People who get money go to India. They do not go to India to buy parts. You know what they do? They go to India to buy, they call it mold.
To buy the molds.
So if they want to do oil seal, they'll go there. You have these cottage industries. Almost everybody who can afford 500,000 naira is going to buy mold so that he can come to his house with his boys and he will be producing the parts he sells in Nkwanne.
True.
As at that time, he be sent to them, GOD them, and all that. I'm talking about in a way I'm familiar with.
Yes.
They went to business. If you come out very early in the morning, from those of us from rural village like Koko, we will see a lot of young boys, a lot of youths trooping down to Nnewi. What are they going to do? They are working in those industries. These guys go to work in the morning, come back in the evening tired and knackered.
True.
You can't want to do anything. You need to shower and eat and go to bed to prepare for work tomorrow. What time do you have for crimes?
That's true.
I have made investigation. I discovered that greater percentage of at least leaders of the association in Aba, I'm sure Lady Marlin wouldn't be happy with this. Aba is congested.
Trust me.
As good neighbors,
I
as
am
good neighbors, as a sitting governor of Anambra State, I will assist our Aba brothers, our Abia State brothers, to invite those guys that are doing those productions in Aba. Most of the leaders of the associations in the market have realized are from Anambra. What am I going to do? It's not even state fund. Let me tell you how I got a house in Abuja. When I came back from London with mortgage behind my head, I knew I needed a house. I didn't come with a lot of money because I left London immediately I finished my academic work. But I saved some money. Eventually, I got to know about a developer who had the agreement with a microfinance bank. Microfinance bank gave loan, and then those of us who are subscribers, the developer will now introduce us to the bank, will now be paying the bank, and the bank had paid the developer. How will it work in Anambra? How did Igbo build trade fair? They contribute 10 naira every day. All you need to do as the state governor, provide the land, put infrastructure, even charge them for the infrastructure. Don't make it loud. They will not even know. Yes, the state will make funds. No, I'm being factual. The state will make a lot of money. They will come to you, help them. They need to build power plants. They would not have the power plant. Oh, Zenith Bank, can you provide these guys with power plant? They can pay for it. They provide the fund, it's produced for them. Industrial parks. Those guys who were producing oil seal in their various homes, they had challenges of power, they had challenges of this, they had challenges of water and all that. Industrial park.
Yes.
Acquire a very big land mass. These guys will come and own it. If you build it and sell to them or make them tenants, they will not come.
That's true.
People move from Idumata to trade fair because there was ownership of the shops. In my community, shops were built, and then they want to start. They want to get traders to come. It has not worked out for the last 10 years, if not more. The people who want to do the business there want to own the shops. Find a way to make it possible for them to own the shops. You as the state governor, you will always visit them there. Go there, play draft with them. In less than 6 months, people with those structures will finish. The banks will pay for it, and those guys will make money.
Yes.
If you do that, small cottage in every senatorial zone. Those who are into agriculture, for instance, in Anambra North, you look towards agriculture. I felt bad. I saw Kosharis in Cross River. He was discussing with Alade on how he will invest in rice and all that in Anambra. Kosharis even can. It's our own. One now, can you hear the Cross River? Let me tell you, yes. I went to Enugu. I'm not going to be in competition with any state. I went to Enugu. I saw I went to Innocent's office. I see if I saw factory nke bukakwa iwe kekisi we buwe si Anambra. Buwe factory in there, si buwe no si Anambra we beru eba. He laughed over it. He didn't understand my question.
Yeah.
He didn't understand my question. I saw no less than 200 people staying there for less than 10 minutes. People who are doing, I'm not talking about even people who are selling pure water and bread outside. That's job creation.
That's job creation, yes, exactly.
During this lockdown, there was an issue. I spoke to him. He said he can produce, what is it called?
The ventilators.
This thing for breathing, sorry. Ventilators, say you can produce ventilators.
Yeah.
Oh, you can produce that?
Yeah.
What would the government do?
Exactly.
I'm only telling you things you could do as a governor at no cost on the state.
Yes.
At no cost on the state. People will get employed. There will be massive explosion, people of employment in the state. So if I'm telling you I will trim down the civil service. So I'm not saying I'm going to employ directly. There are people who do not have business to be there getting government salary. There will be somebody who earns 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 40,000 a month, discovers that if he decides to work with innocent, that we make that in a day. Let me give you an example. I was federal commissioner, you already know that. I visited my friend in Nasarawa State. He took me to where he was doing rice. Do you know what they were doing? The rice processing company give them right seeds. They pay small money. The company still give them all they need. They will farm the rice, and the company buys the entire rice from them. My friend said, it's good business because he gets the seeds. The only thing he does is to lease the land, get farmers to farm it, make sure that, whatever support he needs, he gets from the company, and the company comes and buys the rice. He's guaranteed of market. Everybody is buying Nasarawa rice. The state government has little or no role to play, if you remember.
That's true.
In terms of funding, it's just the environment. If you want to harvest billions in Anambra State, you can do that. It's just the environment, for the environment to be conducive.
Yes, sir.
So if you lift those things down to Anambra, and there are economic activities, you think there will be no jobs. Let me not go into details. That's for job creation. The third one is finance and cost of governance.
Yes.
Spencer, to restore the confidence of the citizens in the government in the states, they have to have sense of belonging, irrespective of where they come from. As governor, if God permits, no kobo will be approved. I've gone through the budget of Anambra State. The state will appropriate 100 naira in 2020. At the end of the day, 5 naira or 20 naira was released. I've been privileged to work with the legislature, National Assembly. I have been privileged to be a chief executive of a federal government agency. I will not appropriate a kobo we do not have. As the governor of Anambra State, I will not, for the purposes of appropriation, appropriate a fund we do not have. I will make sure whatever that is appropriated, if the state cannot deploy it as required by the Legislating Act, I won't sign it into law. From the first day of my inauguration, I'm driving straight to the office. The first thing I will do is to find a way. What did you say?
No, I laugh because you said you're driving straight to your office.
Yes. I will make sure I synchronize all revenues, levies, fines, fees, taxes accruable to the state into a designated, verifiable Anambra State single treasury account.
Is that not happening?
If you are an agency involved in
not happening
the state to get,
is it not happening at the moment?
Of course, it's not. It's not.
Okay,
As the governor of Anambra State, no, it's at the federal level. As the governor of Anambra State, if you have cost, Spencer, if you have cost to go to the nearest court in your area to do affidavit, you pay it into a microfinance bank and get receipt. If receipt is not attached to it, it's not affidavit from Anambra State. I'm just giving you an example.
Yes.
If you are in the hospital and you have to buy paracetamol, where you pay for it, it's at National Hospital. If you go to National, you want to run tests, you go and pay, get receipt, go and give the person at the lab. The person takes the receipt, puts it in the system. Before you get to the where you do lab, the person you made payment to has already uploaded your payment on the system.
Yes.
As you get to the point where your sample will be collected, it's already in the system that you have paid.
Yes.
If the hospital needs money to run the hospital, the money will be released to them by the state.
Yes.
If any agency is involved in collection of money, I will not tell you, I will not give you a target of give me 12 billion a month or give me 12 million a month. You give me 12 million, you go to the road. Every truck that passes a particular road 10 times pays you 8,000 naira 10 times in Anambra. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. If you have a truck, go at the beginning of the month, go and pay to a bank, get a receipt that covers you for the month, or you know how much you pay. It's predictable. People will be encouraged to come to do business in the States. You see, the problem we have, which was equally the problem we had in Public Complaints Commission. If I talk, I tell you my practical experience. I'm not telling you what I have not practiced. It's that at all times, chief executives look forward to allocation from the federal government. I hope and pray that I will not be a governor that will have much business and dependence on the allocation from the federal government. I will call them that. In terms of appointment, Spencer, can you tell me what does a governor need 200, 400 SAs to do?
I was going to ask that. Well, I don't know.
What do you need them?
I don't know.
The much I could do, we have about 11 federal constituencies in Anambra State. I'm not going to have more than 11 SAs.
Yes.
Statutory appointments I will make. If the law says every local government must have a commissioner, I will consider that. But for people who will advise me, I don't need people who will be at home, be my appointed agents, doing their clearing business in Lagos, doing their importation or doing their Okada business in Nasarawa, and every month they get allocation from state. That is robbery.
Yeah.
And God forbid I get involved in robbing the states.
Sorry, sir. Talking on
Those
employment.
leakages will be. Those people, you don't need those.
Sorry, sir.
Pardon?
Sorry to interrupt you. Still on this employment before you go to another one. What's your? I didn't hear you mention women and disabled in your employment. The people you're going to employ.
Okay, you want me to give you the list of the people that will be employed, or you want to know the policy of women and disabled?
Exactly. Before you leave the employment and get into another one, sir. We need women.
No, I was thinking probably if I run down the things I have, let me tell you, I'll be in the government house because of women, the widows. My father died when I was 18 months old.
Oh, I clap to that.
My father died when I was 18 months old.
Oh.
Because of the peculiar challenges we have in our communities, my mother went back to her father's house with me, and I was brought up by my grandmother, and a woman.
Oh.
All my life, I have been nurtured and ordered by women, widows. So, you ask me about you as well.
No, disabled.
I could be in office when I was the Public Complaints Commission. Okay. Everybody will be involved. in what we are doing. Greater part of the employment will be done by the private sector. I will encourage the private sector to grow. The disabled, for instance, I had a friend in law school. She now works with the CBN. She had challenges from her waist down.
Okay.
Were not very useful to her. She was one of the best in the law school. So if she's from my state, what stops her, if she's into legal practice, to be the Solicitor General of the state? What stops her from getting appointments? Nothing. When I was working in UK, I worked with people ordinarily should be on the streets of Abuja begging. And they were more dedicated, more committed. I had a staff. She doesn't go out. She's very good with ICT. She comes to work, she stays. There's anything you want, she does it for you. It does not matter whether you are disabled or you are able or unable, as long as you can do the job. But there will be a percentage of that given to them. But I would appreciate if I could run through the 12 points I raised, then we can now address them one after the other if you want, and if you have the time.
But Chief, but the reason why we need to pick out these questions is some of these questions are questions people gave us, and they feel like it's really important questions that, Merlin, do you want to read that one that someone just said now, even that, so you can take it along?
Yes, there's actually Chukwuebuka Obinna Onyeje said, what's his blueprint on infrastructure? And then Derek and also has a very good question.
So that's what if you have the questions written down, for instance, I mentioned infrastructure. I'm still on I'm still on finance and reducing cost of governance.
Okay, sir. And the other one, sorry, sir. And the other one mentioned about Derek stated that Derek, thank you for joining. What are you going to do about certificate of occupancy and the people of Anambra State, for the people of Anambra State? Because he says that this can help you increase your IGR. So those are the two most important questions.
If you could remember, if you could remember, the first question I asked, the first thing I said is that I asked Innocent how he managed to carry his plastic factory to Enugu.
Yes. Yes.
So if you want Innocent to have his factory in Anambra, don't you think ownership of the land where he's going to do that will be one of the things he will do? You see, some of these things we create artificial bottlenecks. You submit application for CFO, there are requirements for getting that. You submit application for CFO, at times it takes 2 years. If you ask them, they say, oh, you just submitted last year. For crying out loud, what says that if you submit it, you can't get it in 48 hours?
Exactly.
If people are doing their work.
Yeah.
Even common car registration. Let me give you an example. Car registration. In Abuja, I have challenges. I wanted to do it in Anambra. I was not comfortable with what they told me in my local government where I went to do it. I did it in Nasarawa, neighboring state to Abuja. After doing it, 1 week after, somebody called me on phone. You renewed your vehicle license in Lafayette on social date. I said, yes. What was it like? Were you well attended to? Are you happy? Is there any complaint and all that? What do you think they are trying to do? If I have the opportunity to have another car to renew, you think I will not go back to that place?
Of course you would, yeah. Of course you would.
That's exactly what I would do. So what we are going to do is that most of you see what Erufai did in Abuja in terms of the ages and all that is to clean up the entire system, have everything in the system.
Yeah.
Clean up the entire system, because this manual way of doing things breeds corruption. If somebody can sit in his office, in her office, and send the document, the next person sees it and does what he's supposed to do. You don't have to carry one file from A to D. You don't need to pay somebody to find your file. You know that looking for files have cost. Ordinarily, in a better climb, if you need a document, if you need information on what you are doing, your last name, Marlene, is typed in the system. Or what is your name? Your last name, Spencer, is typed in the system. Information pops up.
Yes.
In Anambra, if you want to do that, what is the file number? Oh, there is a lot of documents there. This file, oh, please, can you come next week? And we need somebody, I need to get somebody that will help go and look for the file and all that. It breeds corruption. So I'm not saying I'm going to change the rules, but what I'm telling you about that is that I will clean up the system. I will clean up the system. We have people that will make sure everything is in the system.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Everything will be computerized.
Okay, so I'll chip in another question.
So I will make it easier.
Okay, sir. I'll chip in another question, which I feel because of time, because we're running out of time. But I think I'm going to give you one or two. The issue of sanitation in Anambra State, for instance, it's a big problem. People feel like sanitation. Then the issue of erosion, drainage. I mean, for instance, in Anambra State, where I'm from, Ogidi, I don't know. It hasn't happened this year yet, but every year there's always flooding, and it floods from our side towards Abatete and all that. There's always flooding, and then the issue of healthcare. I'm just going to give it to you quickly. Healthcare. We know there is this Anambra State Healthcare Initiative, which is being put in place now, and it's still at the moment is 12,500 a year. To some Nigerians who earn meagerly, that might be expensive. So I'm wondering if you do become the governor, what plans do you have for these areas like this, such as these?
Okay. Okay. The first thing I need to let you know, let's start with the healthcare. In my community, I have a group, Obo Patriotic Forum, an association. What we do is to intervene. In our general hospital, had challenges with the fence. We are putting that together. I'm not the one funding it. I'm only a privileged chairman of the board of trustees of the association. Okay. What it means, and the responses I've got so far is telling me that all the people need is to ensure that there is transparency. People would like to part with their funds. This Anambra Health Insurance Scheme, we are making arrangements to get 60 people involved. We have 6 wards in Obo. We are going to get 10 per ward. Okay. And I've got contact with Anambra, because I am not just hearing about Anambra Health Insurance Scheme. I am getting involved to practice it as an outsider, to have an idea of how it works.
It works, yes.
So I'm using that platform. For us to enroll 60 people. The first thing we got is that if we are going to get more than 20 people, we are going to pay 12,000.
Okay.
Not 12,500, as you said.
All right.
For you to know that it's not just, I'm not just hearing about it. I know what it is, and I've been able to work on that.
Yes.
Is it affordable at the moment? They started in 2018. Even in my community, a lot of people are getting to know about it. So what we are going to do is that at the state level, what I'm trying to practice with the Patriotic Forum in my rural area will be elevated to the state level.
Yes.
The states will get involved, pick some people in their various communities, and pay for them to go and have free health care. Get them
That's
involved.
correct.
1 year is 12,500. 1 year is 12,500. If an individual is trying to do that and spend 12,000, I'm sure the state can afford to raise some funds, put into that, and make sure that every community, if every community in Anambra State has 5 people who are beneficiaries, it will not be too much for the state. But
That's
before
correct.
that, we need to actually, first of all, we need to provide the enabling environment for that thing to work.
Yes.
As we speak now, the government-owned hospitals, are they functional? We have 592 primary health centers in Anambra State. For instance, if you go to, let me give which local government do I use as an example now?
Idemili local government.
Let me say, Idemili local government.
That's fine.
Idemili South, Idemili North has 38.
North, yeah.
Idemili South, Idemili North has 38 primary health centers. Idemili South has 32 primary health centers. You are from Idemili.
Okay. Yes, North.
What it means is that
Agree.
in Idemili, you have about 70 health centers. Are they working?
Not sure.
In the same Idemili, in Idemili North, you have 2 general hospitals that is supposed to provide secondary health care for people coming from those primary health centers.
Yes.
In Idemili South, you have 1, the general hospital in Nobi. In Idemili North, you have Ogidi, the general hospital in Ogidi, and CHS in Idemili.
Yes.
Are they working? What are the challenges? As we speak today, are you aware that Newi North does not have any state government secondary health institution? There is no general hospital in Newi. There is no state government-owned general hospital in Newi. There is no general hospital in Newi. They used to have the teaching hospital now used to be the general hospital. The federal government took over that, converted to teaching hospital. As we speak, there is no general hospital in Newi. What will I do? It's very simple. Anambra State, I've already given the federal government land where they are building the general hospital, the permanent site of Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital. The last time I made inquiries, they need about 50 million for the administrative work block to be functional. You see, I tell you, because I go to my primary school in Anambra, go secondary school in Anambra, go university in Anambra. I understand our problems. I am not coming from one institution as a messiah to come and serve in the Anambra. No. I'm already in the system and understand the challenges. So I'm offering myself to work.
Yes.
If you get that money, you liaise with the National Assembly and part with some funds to assist them to move to the permanent site, you will already have the present teaching hospital as the state government-owned general hospital in Newi with all the facilities, with less than 200 million. If they need more, the Newi General Hospital, the teaching hospital was built by the Newi. If they need more, the governor will go to their doorstep. I need the qualifier. It's going to be done. The only thing the people need, in the Anambra need, is to see through you.
Yes.
The transparency. So if you are talking about health insurance, there are a lot of the general hospitals we have are not functional. They are not functional. There is none in Oyi local government as a whole. There is none in Onitsha South. There is none in Ayamelum. There is none in Newi North. I've mentioned that.
Yes.
Anambra West, there is none. There is none in Anambra West before the current governor came. And a massive transformation was done in Aguleri General Hospital. And there is no general hospital in the neighboring local government, Anambra West. Of course, what you did in Aguleri, there will be a lot of pressure on Aguleri.
Yes.
because the neighboring communities will end up there. So you've really not done any favors for their glory.
Sure.
Set up these institutions. And then, do you meet doctors when you go there? Look at what is happening in Anambra. The Anambra General Hospitals are not being managed by experts in management. What you have is doctors serve as CMD, and in most cases, they are sole administrators.
Yes.
They are not professionals. We have professionals that will run the hospitals. And the doctors will not be angry with me because they will be part of the management. The doctors in Anambra will not be happy, they will not be angry with me because they'll be well remunerated. From my personal investigation, the money you get from the hospital in Onitsha, the money you realize there, the general hospital you have in Onitsha, is enough. It's enough. What you generate there is enough to pay all the employees of Anambra State Ministry of Health. If the single account helps me to save the money. So there will be no increment. You will see things will be properly run. No doctor in Anambra, from Anambra, wants to do his anything within any health institution in Anambra State. Those of us in Abuja, we always have pressure. I want to do this. Please get me hospital. I want to do this. Some people will be willing to go to the northwest than to do it in Anambra State.
Yes.
Because that is when they will get the first money to start off and all that. So in the health, before the insurance scheme, we need to sanitize the entire system. And at the end of the day, the people who work in those institutions will be happier. They will be happier. Because the funds will go to the state will release the funds and ensure that the proper work is done. The hospital is well managed by people who are in the position to manage hospitals, not a doctor who will only come on the days he has shifts or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And somebody who will manage the hospital wakes up in the morning, everybody every day, goes to the hospital, reports to work, make sure that everything is working as usual. In UK, that is the way it works everywhere in the world. Why would Anambra be different? Even in our neighboring states, from my research, I've done personal research. In our neighboring state, Delta states, I'm not saying they are perfect, but the doctors are not the ones managing the hospitals. Find out. The nurses are part of the management. Everybody is part of the management. You don't have a doctor as a sole administrator who only comes on his days that he's supposed to see patients. A lot of people move on. You go to most of those hospitals that are overgrown with weeds. As we speak, I've told you, Obo Petroleum Forum is making a lot of interventions in Obo General Hospital.
Yeah.
Most of these hospitals were built by India Anambra. So even as a state, if you want their intervention in any of the hospitals in their communities, hire Woputego support once they understand and they can see that the governor is transparent.
Yes.
I'm going to run a government where everybody will be involved.
So while you're doing that, add the children too, the education and free feeding for children. Since we don't have enough time to, we've got a past an hour now. So if you can add more, add what's your plan on education and the children?
Let me tell you, I still use what I do. You know, a lot of people who run for elections do not know what is happening in their various communities.
Yes.
I'm involved in everything that is happening in my community. I took also title. I was honored by the Igwe of my town as a high chief, as a Senachi, and I'm privileged to be a member of his cabinet. I'm involved in the decision process. The last administration of Improvement Union, I served as the chairman of the Constitution Amendment. You know, one of the things we have in our Constitution, I think it should be Section 42 of the Improvement Union Constitution. Business, more without SSCE. That's what we're having at that level.
Fantastic.
That's what is. You see what I'm saying? Anything I'm saying, please, if anybody finds anything to the contrary, that is not what we have in the constitution. I was chairman. I'm not saying I drafted it, because after the committee did their drafting, the executive approved it. After that, Ubo General Assembly ratified it. So that was the decision of football. So if, irrespective of who introduced it and who didn't, if the community did not accept it, you will not part of their constitution. If you go to Ubo now, if you have the constitution, that is what you have. So if I could do that with the little opportunity to serve at that level, you think in Anambra State, you can do anything if you don't have school start? I don't think so. So what we are going to do in education, how many schools do we have? How many teachers do we have? Where are they working? These are the things we look at. Why? You see, there was this in Anambra, as we speak today. I hope you know that a lot of schools were handed over to the missionaries. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
To the missions.
Yes.
Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Are you aware that the government still? Hello, I didn't hear you.
We can hear you, sir.
Are you
aware of that?
Yes, sir, we are.
So what we do now in Anambra State, in addition to that, you will see a governor. You have this big draft, 600 million is given to this church. 500 million is given to this church. I will not be involved as a governor in that public display. It's shameful. I cannot be that shameless. What we are going to do in Anambra State is that it's going to be structured. If XYZ school is going to be given 10 million, it should be in the budget. The technical committee will make a recommendation what we need in so-so school. The missions already have departments that manage that. There will be a seamless transfers. It will be appropriated that we are going to build hall in community secondary school Umudimpa. There will be bidding. The money will be appropriated. All the procedures, because they are being managed by the churches, does not mean that the state will not be informed, because you have the responsibility as the governor to ensure that every penny of Anambra should be well spent.
Yes.
So I will not make sure of it.
So why you're saying
I can't keep the schools. I can't keep.
Chief Barrister, why you're saying this, I'm going to ask you something quickly, which is to do with party mechanisms. You said every penny you're going to use for the good use of Anambra people. But what we found in recent times in governance in Nigeria as a whole is that if someone has good intentions, like yourself, you speak with what you've been saying. Honestly, I'm drawn to you now as a candidate. but the thing is, once they get in there, something happens, and we don't know what that magic is. Suddenly, we don't know if it's godfathers that hold them back. We don't know if they've decided to keep the money, but somehow all the resources that we know is available suddenly disappears, and there's no development, there's no roads, it's just more static. And we're wondering, what can you explain to us? What happens? Maybe is it at the primary level where the way people are selected? Or is it what is it that happens that causes this in Nigerian politics?
Let me tell you, my brother Spencer, I cannot support you in an election. The first month you got allocation of 2 billion. There is nothing in the state to show for it.
Yes.
The next month you got 5 billion. There is nothing in the state to show for it. The natural thing is that I will come to ask for my own. I cannot be involved in working, and I will not be involved in eating.
Okay.
But if you turn the entire state as a construction site,
Yeah,
nobody will do that.
that's true.
Because some of these people, they have pressure. Let me tell you, you see, the problem we have is that people, when they are seeking for office, they go to a lot of people, make promises. When they get that position, they say that these are criminals. You came to my
Yeah.
house when I'm running for election. It's not the money I need of the immediate. Are we still together?
Yes.
Are we still together?
Yes,
Yes.
we are.
Wherever such thing is happening, wherever such thing is happening, please pardon my language. The governor no way bonyohi. If I have economic activities going on if I have economic activities going on in your state, it's when they say, oh, because I don't want to share money with them, blah blah blah. No, these guys are not fools. If I'm calling you the influence, they say, oh, please, I don't know, I don't want to forcefully come into your state, but what of your zone? We are looking for a land, and we need that for industrial park. I don't know. You need to help me mobilize your people so that they will be involved in the governance. They will see the money, see what is happening with the money. So who will be calling for settlement? P2B. Which godfather had him hostage? Tell me which one.
None. I don't think so.
In a book by Sina, there was the governor Sama even. No, you can't be doing that.
True.
You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying in effect is that I believe I will not have such problem. Everybody will be involved. Everybody will see what is happening in Anambra State. Everybody. Let me tell you, there's one governor from the South. He has his house in Asokoro here. I've been trying to see him to consult with him and let me know that I'm running for governor. He said, you have to come to my state, you. I know the Abuja governor. I did the house I did. You must well, I will tell you where you can come to my state. I say, well, I say it has to be in my state. If I come to Abuja and something brings me, that thing will take me back immediately. And you find out that most of the people in the state are not in Abuja, they have gone back to their state. Okay, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to conduct local government election. The local government will have direct their entire funds. If you're a local government chairman in a 10 million north or south, depending on your local government, and you get allocation to work on 150 million every month, what will you do with the House of Reps? What will you do with Senate?
That's true.
That will create a lot of job opportunities.
Of course.
If you take the money coming from my local government and keep it in Oka and you are disbursing it, and you come and move with him, I'll put pressure on you.
Yes.
Go to your local government. You talked about environment. I didn't want to talk about that. As a child growing up, when we want to go to school, you will see village women and men clearing the bush by the roadside, clearing the gutters and all that.
Yes.
Who engages them? The local government. Can the local government in Anambra, as we speak today, do that? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because everything has been centralized. Yes. That's why they have to appoint as the governor. You have money for your local government, you come to your local government and deal with it. So where will I get the money from? How much, Spencer, how much do you really need to be happy?
That's what
how much do you have before going to government house? How much, if you don't have billions and you were made a governor, why do you think that the next thing you will do that you need those billions? No, why do you think so? And the moment you cannot, for instance, let me give you an example, because I didn't actually want to go into this because I know we don't have the time. No contractor will spend 1 kobo in my in the government, in the normal contractor will spend 1 kobo in Oka for him to get, for his certificate to get paid. As commissioner, as a federal commissioner with the same status with Minister of State, there is no file that stays 24 hours on my table unless I'm not in Abuja. If something kills me at the secretariat, or I have a meeting to attend, or maybe I'm busy at the headquarters, there are days I go at night to clear my desk.
Yes.
So it's when a contractor submits a document and he needs to lobby for it to go through and all that, it's at the end of the day, he will build it in the contract. He's going to, what is in his bids. Who pays for the money in the Anambra? So if a document comes to my office, I mean chief of staff, blah, 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 and the document stays 24 hours in your office, and of course I will be having minimum of weekly meeting with everybody working in the government house. From deputy director, weekly meeting. You can only do that if you are in Oka. I have no house in Houston, so I'm not rushing to Houston. I'm there in Anambra. We'll be there every day. And it's not in governors. These days, a lot of official functions are done in the government. It's not, I feel really, let me mind my language. But it should not be done.
Wow. Wow, Chief, you've actually educated us a lot in Anambra matters, what you do in Anambra. Derek said also we should ask you if you're willing to partner with the private sectors. I think you mentioned it earlier on, to achieve your aims in Anambra State. So, and Chukwuka is so bitter about PDP. He actually advised, I'm reading as it is, he advised you join another party and leave PDP, that PDP has actually messed the country up. What do you think about that, Chief? Hello?
Chief, can you hear us? Are you with us? I think he might have.
Yeah, but he's not muted yet.
So I'll bring him back when he I think he's frozen.
Chukwuka is really okay. I said Chukwuka is Chukwuebuka is the same thing here.
Yes.
Chukwuebuka is really bitter about what's going on. He mentioned there was something he wrote earlier on about going to school with DMGS and meeting up with the governor. And the governor didn't quite give him just gave him a handshake, and because he's not from Anambra State. But he was born in Anambra. That was really, Chukwuka must say that is really pathetic, because I was born in Anambra State. Now Enugu, but then Anambra State. But I went to school in Onitsha also, like you went to DMGS. And I went to, is it DMGS you went to, or CKC? Yeah, you went to DMGS. DMGS. And I was the sister school, Anglican girls. That's where I went to Chukwuebuka. So we're like brothers and sisters in school. Chief, we lost you there, but welcome back. Welcome back. Can you hear us, sir? Barrister, you're muted. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you again. Hey, yeah, I'm muted.
Lady Marlene.
Yes, sir. I was just recapping what Chukwuebuka stated about his experience in Anambra State. I hope that wouldn't happen. If you can hear me, I know you can hear me, but let me continue. Then you can answer back. Chukwuebuka went. Okay, it's muted. You can unmute yourself, sir. Yeah, I know you can hear me, but yes, sir. But just yes. Okay. Okay, you're back with us now.
I can hear you.
Okay, so what I was saying, Chukwuebuka was mentioning his experience in Anambra.
Go on.
He was born in Anambra, but he's from Imo, and he achieved quite a bit, after going to DMGS and UNN. And then when he was upset, he was bitter because when he met the Anambra State governor, he felt that he didn't actually show the appreciation that he should have given to him. So I'm saying now, Because I'm from Abia State, when I went to school in Onitsha, Anglican Girls Onitsha, I hope it wouldn't be because I'm not from Anambra State, I will not get the privileges other Anambrarians will get when you become the governor.
I think he's muted. Chief, you're muted. Okay.
Will you be resident? Will you be resident in Anambra, or do you expect to have those privileges from Abia State?
That's a good one.
I want us to be on the same page. Will you be?
No, but if I have a contribution to give to Anambra people, then I will not be. I must be frank. I will not be staying in Anambra State. I wouldn't be resident in Anambra State. But if I have something to give to the Anambra people, especially environment, when it comes to the Abia State, like you mentioned, I am so ashamed. I'm sorry to say that. When it comes, because my governor, now Abia State governor, was the Commissioner for Environment before he became a governor. And then Abia State has gone to the worst. So, yeah, when I come, Onitsha wasn't fantastic when I went to school in Onitsha. But now I was told there's a lot of developments. But if I have to come and contribute, put one or two things there, not living there, will I still be given that privilege?
Chief, can you hear us, sir? I think he's frozen.
We lost him again. I think maybe Spencer time is telling us it's time to go because he has actually spoken well.
Yes.
Well, yes.
I think we might have to bring it, Merlin. I think we might have to bring him back again because I know he didn't finish with his 12-point agenda he said he had. And I think at some point down the line, probably towards the election period, we would have him back because I think he has a lot to give, Anambra, and it'd be good and only fair for people to hear more from him.
And then, Spencer, another thing I just thought about, because this is supposed to be a Thursday show, and since this Thursday, we'll talk to him again. If he's free to come and finish up on Thursday, maybe we'll do that.
Okay.
So that we'll have a kind of part 1, part 2.
Yes. We'll do that. Yeah, that would be a good idea.
We have so much to talk about people. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think he's gone at the moment. And on that note, I think we're going to have to round up the show now, the program for today. Please keep following. Thank you, everyone who's contributed on the program. From Derek to Chukwuebuka, I can't mention all the names there. Some of them, Oliver, everyone.
I'd love to. Spencer, we cannot leave this set without actually mentioning, paying our tribute to the people that died, the IPOB boys that lost their lives in Enugu. They are also our brothers, regardless what the government tell us and regardless what they are agitating for. Please, everyone should be very, very, very careful.
Yes.
If you're asked not to gather, if you're asked to gather, don't gather. And then, please, if you have to strike, don't strike with the real bullets. Please, on both sides. Let's balance each situation here. Yeah?
Yeah, so Chief Obunike was, before we lost him, I was going to get him to, we were going to ask him a question about what happened really, in his opinion. And hopefully he will discuss that on Thursday when he comes. And, our hearts goes out to those who lost their lives and the family of those who have lost their loved ones. All we can say is, please be careful out there. Our Chief is back now. Let's give him a last word before we leave. I think he'll be only fair. Chief, can you hear us now, sir?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, Chief, we were rounding off.
Loud and clear.
Internet problem. We were saying we needed to mention about what happened in Enugu on Sunday, I believe. Where
also want to give you more time on Thursday if you're free, sir.
Yes.
Okay, that'll be fine with me.
Yeah, what we're saying is if you're free on Thursday, let's have like a part 2 to the discussion because I know your 12-point agenda. You haven't gone halfway, and it's only fair that if we have the time, that is, we'll come back on Thursday and we'll continue and hopefully.
No problem. I'll be glad to continue with the conversation because I've always believed that the only thing we need
It's gone again.
Oh, the sound's gone, sir.
Yeah.
The sound's gone again. Oh, yeah. The sound has gone. We can't hear you now. No? Okay, try and unmute. Let's see if it comes back before we go.
Mm-hmm. Unmute it, sir. Mm-hmm.
Unmute it. Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Barrister, can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. You were talking about what happened in Enugu.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I don't want to sound. I don't know what really happened. I don't have the full details. But as the governor of Anambra State, it will be difficult for me to continue with any commissioner that manages that kind of crisis the way lives were lost in Enugu. You know, I told you, I will have a Biafra Memorial Center. Some of us that were born after the war, we are privileged to speak with our fathers and grandparents, uncles who were involved in the war. Yes, I was born after the war. We met people who experienced it. But now you see so many people probably who were born in early 80s,
Yes.
late 80s. They are the ones driving the narrative. The truth is that at the end of the Biafran War, Igbos never hated their neighbors. That was why, despite having 20 pounds, people were able to move out of the Igbo land. They went to Lagos, they went to the north, and all parts of the Igbo land. And they were able to do and create the wealth some of us are enjoying today. If they were hating after the war, probably the Igbo land would have been worse than Somalia as we speak today.
True.
That is the reason behind my decision to establish my administration. We acquire a large area of land to build a center to be known as Biafran Center. The center will house the Biafran Museum with all the artifacts used during the Biafran War, books and materials on Biafra. Massive auditorium for teaching seminars and conferences on Biafra to expose pupils, students, scholars on the history of Biafra. It will be a world-class tourist center to be patronized not just by Nigerians. It will be compulsory for every student after your junior, what they call junior WAEC, the JSS exams.
Yes.
You will go for at least a month at the expense of the state. A month training at the Biafran Center. I can guarantee that Ndi Igbo will fund it. It is not going to cost the state government a lot. It will give them the opportunity to understand, okay, look at, you know how much the state government spends every year to stop our brothers, our younger ones from celebrating the Biafra. You can't stop such. The state will be involved in the celebration. Because if you don't get involved, some other people will get involved and then define the narrative.
True.
The state government will be involved. They will look at, we suffer this, we suffer that, we do this, but what made us to get to this point is because we showed love to the world. Look at what happened, and so people, we lost so people. Every family lost somebody. We cannot allow this to happen again. Even those people who were involved in the war left the Igbo land immediately the war ended to build the wealth we are enjoying today. If we try to suppress them, people who have no code of conduct, we define the narrative, and it's bad for our children. The state government, the Anambra state government, under my leadership, by his grace, will be fully involved. We'll be having lectures, seminars, people, the history, whether you teach history in Nigeria or not, only Anambra will understand what Biafra is all about. What really happened? How did it happen? We have people who were involved in the war who are still alive today. We have people who personally interacted with the Ojukwu who are alive. They are alive today. In fact, a professor who is more like a mentor to me is got materials from Ojukwu with a mandate to write the history of Biafra. So that meeting that was held in Enugu, in Anambra under my watch, will be held with security personnel protecting them, not shooting at them. Igbos like meeting. It was from meeting that they built all the general hospitals. Most of the general hospitals in Anambra State were built by the communities and handed over to the government. So those people who are IPOP or whatever they are, if they are meeting, well, we know they are meeting, we'll be involved, we know what they are discussing. They should be discussing on what to contribute to make the Biafran land, if they believe in Anambra, to make it more habitable for the Anambra, for us to be happy, not to cause violence. And they deserve to be protected like every other Nigerian. It cannot happen in my state that I will have the commissioner in my state. I have no power to transfer commissioners, but I can decide that if this commissioner is not removed from Anambra, I will cease cooperating with the commissioner.
Okay, sir. Can we just, you spoke fantastic.
So what happened is unfortunate.
Yes.
What happened is unfortunate. We have no reason whatsoever to lose life. One person. Look at in US, one person was shot and the entire United States was shut down. And 20-something people, and the argument today is we're there for, or 20-something. How can you lose one? How can you even injure one? I saw on Arise TV the people who were fully armed with achara stick. That was the ones I saw. They were armed with achara stick, and they were shooting gun. And you will remain in the state. I am the governor, chief security officer, and I will be working with you. It's not possible.
Thank you.
It's not possible. It's not.
Thank you so much. I know.
It's unfortunate.
I can imagine how emotional this has just gotten to you, and that is actually how emotional it is here with Private Television back in the studio. Spencer, any contribution to that before he gives us his final statement?
Well, Chief, you spoke very eloquently. Like we were telling, our hearts were going out to those who lost their lives. And obviously, it's an unfortunate situation where the armed men who are meant to protect the people will go out shooting, no matter, under any guise, they had no reason to be shooting or killing people, So we all frown upon it. And we hope that, the federal government does something about it and sees to see that using a sledgehammer to kill a nun is not the way to go. But Chief, all I'll say is please, like we were agreed now, please come on Thursday for us to go down the rest of the list, because I know people want to hear the rest of it. And we will be happy to have you. Thank you for coming on the program today. I'll
be happy to be with you.
Yes, we're not going to say round up today. Let's see this as part one, and then part two on Thursday. Then you will go into other areas in terms of the issues, for instance, that the PDP are having. We know there are some party issues there. And we'll probably talk about why you feel the PDP is better than APGA, for instance, and stuff like that. So thank you very much for coming on the program. And Lady Money, I'll let you end the program.
Chief, do you have anything to say to us before you go?
Anambra. Na etu ọ dị kịta na Chukwu ya eme na ọ ya dị mma karịa etu ọ dị kịta, ana Anambra ya dị mma. Anambra ya egosi ndị ụwa na anyị nwere ihe ọbụla anyị nwere to be a great state.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. And
thank you for having me.
Thank you. You're welcome. So it's a privilege having you today in our show. The diaspora.
I'm honored to be, I guess.
Thank you, sir. This platform is actually, this diaspora political leadership platform is actually set up for Anambra people every Thursday. But we're able to do it today, being Tuesday, because last Thursday we had some internet problems from Nigeria. So every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Today we extended it a little bit, but also please stay tuned and watch all the programs we have in Prime View Television. We have the podium headed by anchored by Ambassador Spencer Animalo. We have the Straight Talk. We have the Golden Pot of Hope, which is a charity show. And in this charity show, we have loads and loads of giveaway airtimes given to Nigerians back home, mobile phone airtimes given to Nigerians. And we have the Prime View Kids. And then I haven't told you about our one and only new program, the Obako Ndibo, by the lioness herself, Electric Woman Adabuzo One, Adabuzo Ndiabia. Well, on this note, I must say, I take my bow, and Spencer, I say good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you very much.
Prime View TV. New media with a difference.